Stop caring. Discover the devastating truth about flowing through life at 3 a.m. Never told the clock struck 3. In that eerie hour, when shadows danced and the whisper of the wind felt like a warning, something unimaginable happened. Streets once bustling with life fell silent. The air thickened with a strange energy, palpable and raw. This wasn't just the witching hour. It was the moment when the veil between realities gaped wide. What secrets lay hidden in the dark? Who dared to flow through life at a time when ghosts roamed and every sound echoed with danger? Maya felt it first. A shiver crawled up her spine as she stepped outside. The world was washed in moonlight. The silver glow made familiar streets twist into a sinister labyrinth. The trees swayed like anxious spectators, their branches reaching out as if to grasp her. She always wondered about the stories embedded in these hours, the ones passed down like legends. They were real, and they were waiting. That tightness in her chest whispered an urgency she couldn't ignore. It pulled her down the road, heart racing. Then came the flicker. Bright, almost blinding. It pierced through the night, illuminating a figure standing at the edge of the park. A silhouette, shrouded in a mist. Whatever was rising from the ground made it impossible to discern who or what they were. The air crackled. Maya's heartbeat thudded in her ears as she hesitated. No one else was out here, but she felt eyes on her, countless eyes, watching from the shadows. The sudden gust sent a shiver down her spine. The leaves rustled in a frantic rhythm, carrying unsettling whispers that danced around her like fireflies. Can they hear me? She wondered. Can they see me? The darkness promised secrets, and that figure beckoned her. But was it a calling or a warning? Fear tightened her throat like a vice. Her instincts screamed to flee, yet something deeper urged her to approach, explore, understand. Before we continue with this amazing story, I need to give you an important heads up. Many subscribers have reported that YouTube unsubscribed them without warning. Take a quick second to check the red button below to make sure you're still subscribed to the channel. I'd hate for you to miss any of the exclusive content coming soon. And while you're there, smash that like button. It really helps me out with the algorithm. Oh, and tell me in the comments, which city are you watching from? I love getting to know every amazing person who's part of this community. Your participation makes all the difference. Let's connect. She took a step forward, and the ground beneath her shifted like it was alive. Not just dirt and grass, but something ancient and untamed. A growl hummed in the distance, a sound she swore had to be a trick of her imagination, yet it felt so real. Adrenaline surged when the figure finally turned. Eyes like endless night reflected back at her, glimmering with secrets. She could run, most would. A part of her wanted to scream and escape this weird trance. But the other part? It lured her deeper into whatever this was. Maya reached the edge of the park, breathing heavy. The world was off-kilter, and her head spun with a mix of questions, dread, and an unshakable need for answers. What waited in this dark corner of existence? A revelation? Or something far more sinister? A chill swept through her, and she caught a glimpse of a broken branch. No, not a branch. Something more, something human tangled in the shadows. Her heart raced. What had she stumbled into? What awaited her in the silence beyond the night? Maya's breath caught in her throat as the figure stepped closer, the mist parting like a curtain to reveal a face marred with scars and despair. The eyes, deep and hollow, seemed to bore into her very soul. Each heartbeat echoed its frantic rhythm in her ears as she struggled to process what lay before her. "What are you?" she dared to whisper, her voice trembling. The figure leaned forward, its presence overwhelming. "Truth," it rasped, the word dragging through the air like a heavy stone. "You've sought it, and now it seeks you." Maya's instincts screamed again for her to turn and run, but a relentless gravity held her in place. The night felt too alive around her, and every shadow seemed charged with anxiety. With trembling hands, she stepped back, but the figure reached out, a gesture that appeared both frightening and pleading. "Help is needed," it murmured. "The path is fractured. Time is twisted." Maya glanced around, her mind racing. Was she stepping into another dimension, or was this all a fever dream? "What do you mean? What path?" Suddenly, the growl returned, closer this time, reverberating through the ground beneath her. Heart pounding, she backed up against a gnarled tree, the rough bark biting into her skin. What had awakened in the night? "It's coming," the figure hissed, urgency seeping into its tone. You must know before it could finish. A shadow loomed behind Maya, massive and menacing. She turned slowly, every instinct telling her to flee. Peering into the darkness, she spotted a form rising from the edges of the park, teeth glinting in the moonlight, a grotesque number of limbs stretching and twisting. It pulsed with an otherworldly attraction and terror, an abomination risen from the depths of nightmares. Maya's heart raced, the air thickening with dread. She glanced back at the figure. What do I do? How can I help? Face it. Only then can you uncover the truth, the figure urged, its voice weaving through her senses like a fire igniting courage. Maya felt the weight of its words settle in, as if the responsibility was rooted in her very being. Could she confront the monstrosity? Or would she become just another tale lost to the night? With adrenaline coursing through her veins, she stepped forward, heart hammering as she prepared to face the creature emerging from the shadows. A chilling howl cut through the night, a primal scream announcing a challenge she could not ignore. Remember, echoed the figure, walking is not enough. You must flow through the fear. The creature lunged, and in that instant, time seemed to stretch. The tension crackled in the air like static electricity. Maya prepared herself, summoning the strength she didn't know she had. As she stood firm, the world blurred. A melding of realities swirled around her, pulling her towards something dark, something urgent. In that desperate moment, she felt a connection, a binding force that challenged her perception of reality. Could she truly flow through life at this hour of darkness? And as the creature crashed down, toothy maw opened wide, a blinding flash erupted from Maya's core. What had she unleashed? What truth awaited her in this chaotic symphony of shadows and light? The figure screamed against the chaos. Find the key, or all will crumble. Maya struggled against the pull of fear, heart racing at the uncertainty of her fate. What did it mean? And what choice lay ahead of her under the gaze of the relentless moon? The creature's monstrous roar filled the night, stealing the breath from Maya's lungs. The sound vibrated through her bones as she stood paralyzed, eyes wide with terror. What had she unleashed? Time seemed to blur. The world around her twisted and contracted, dipping into darkness. Everything was muffled sounds swallowed by an abyss, as if the universe held its breath for what was to come. As the creature's ghastly maw descended, she felt the rush of adrenaline, the kind that ignites survival instinct, surging through her like a wildfire. Find a key, rang in her mind like an echo in a desolate canyon. But what key? What on earth did that mean? With an instinct sharper than her fear, she darted to the side, avoiding the razor-sharp teeth by a hair's breadth. The creature crashed into the ground beside her, its enormous form sending tremors through the earth. Maya stumbled but regained her balance, her survival instincts kicking fully into gear. She had to act. Flow through the fear. She breathed out, almost as if willing herself to embrace the chaos. Gritting her teeth, she turned her focus back to the figure, now watching from the shadows with an intensity that burned through the darkness. What is the key? She shouted, desperate. It gestured, its skeletal fingers pointing at the shadows surrounding her. The key is within. Remember who you are. Its voice was steady, a calm amidst the terrifying storm. But those words were like a puzzle piece, slipping through her grasp, leaving her in a fog. The creature roared again, a sound that sliced through the tension, the terrifying reminder that time was not on her side. With no other option, Maya flung herself toward the gnarled tree where she had sought refuge moments earlier. Its roots spread wide and deep, like claws clinging to the earth, whispering ancient secrets. Remember who you are, she repeated, grounding herself against the rough bark, closing her eyes. Visions flashed in her mind, moments of fear and bravery, of hurt and hope. The laughter of friends, the warmth of her family, the strength she had withheld from herself. Clarity surged through her, stealing her resolve. She lifted her gaze to the creature towering over her. I am Maya, she declared, her voice steady, drowning out the roars. I am not afraid of you. With that affirmation, the energy within her ignited. Something deep down a subconscious part of her unlocked. Suddenly, the air shimmered like the surface of a lake disturbed, showing glimpses of truths hidden beneath. As the creature lunged again, she grasped a surge of power. It was raw and electric, cascading through her like a river breaking free of a dam. It's not about fear. It's about choice, she shouted, understanding dawning on her. Her choice between fear and fate was now. Time twisted again, but this time, she was in control. She stepped into the creature's path, holding her ground. As it pounced, she extended a hand, flicking the raw energy toward it. It rippled with light, illuminating the night. The creature froze, eyes wide with surprise, the energy hitting it like a shockwave. Was it fear, pain, or something else? Maya couldn't tell. Adrenaline filled her veins as she realized she had a chance. But with that moment of clarity came another surge of darkness bubbling beneath the surface around her, slicing apart the shadows. Something deeper was coming. The figure's warning replayed in her mind. Find the key, or all will crumble. The creature hesitated, and Maya saw an opening in the shadows, flickering with light. Was that the key? The path to uncovering the truth that had eluded her? Maya backed towards the light, unaware of the creeping dread that lurked behind her. Could she really face whatever lay ahead? Could what she had discovered within herself be enough to overcome this terrifying night? Just as she prepared to step into the light, a voice echoed from behind. You can't run from the truth forever, Maya? Her breath quickened as she turned, caught in the clash of choice and consequence. How would she find her way through this tangled web of darkness? What awaited her as reality collided with this night of nightmares? With shadows rising and fear beckoning, the key was not just a thing to find but a way to understand herself. The churning, chaotic night seemed poised at the edge of revelation. What would happen when she opened her eyes to the truth? Would it be her savior or her ruin? Maya stood there, heart pounding, as the flickering light behind her beckoned like a fragile promise. The roar of the creature faded momentarily, replaced by a heavy silence, wrapping around her like a shroud. The shadowy figure loomed, fingers like twisted branches, whispering anxiously, "You must face it to find your truth." What did that even mean? Her mind raced, trying to make sense of it all. The darkness behind her felt alive, crawling up her spine, fingers tightening around her throat. With each second, the pulsing dread intensified. Face what? She bit back, clenching her fists as the ground trembled beneath her feet. The creature, caught in a moment of indecision, shifted restlessly. It wasn't just a beast of nightmares. It was now her catalyst. As she narrowed her gaze, she felt the courage swell inside, nausea giving way to clarity. I have to remember, she whispered to herself, grounding against the rough bark of the tree. Images flashed like lightning across her mind. Every raw moment, every choice she had ever made glistened with a new light. It wasn't just about her fears. No, it was about everything she had suppressed, every time she stood on the edge of decision, weighed down by doubt. She pivoted her focus to the shadows, the ever-persistent darkness that encroached. I won't let you consume me, she announced, her voice rising, filled with resolve. I refuse. The creature's eyes flared, surprised by her defiance. It hesitated. An unnatural stillness hung in the air. The figure in the shadows shifted, leaning closer as if drawn to her energy. Only you have the power to unlock it, it urged, its voice seeping into her like a gentle rain, accompanied by a foreboding echo. Find the key. Maya took a deep breath, feeling the energy pulsate within her hotter than before. With every heartbeat, she felt the urge to dive into that light behind her, to confront whatever truth lay waiting. But what if she was wrong? What if the light revealed her deepest fears instead? Overhead, the skies roiled with dark clouds, thick and ominous. A crack of thunder resonated, rattling her bones. Never, she cried out against the storm, pushing forward. This time, I'll face whatever comes. In that moment of clarity, she felt something shift within the shadows, recoiling, a crack forming in their claustrophobic grip. With narrowed eyes, she stormed toward the light. The energy wrapped around her finger like threads of fire, illuminating her path toward the glowing opening. But as she approached, the creature lunged toward her again, more feral than ever, an embodiment of her unacknowledged fears. It roared, shaking the world around her. No, she shouted with every fiber of her being. She wasn't just standing against the beast. She was ready to take back her own narrative. But then she stumbled, a flash of doubt crashing through her. Was she strong enough? The unfathomable weight of darkness clawed at her, dragging her down along with the memories she had tried so hard to forget. Faces flashed in her mind, those left behind, relationships fractured by her unyielding quest for perfection. Guilt coiled tight in her chest. Maya felt it, the breaking point, where a choice stood before her, stark and undeniable. Beyond the horizon of pain lay her truth, full of wounds yet unhealed. Would she let the shadows swallow her whole, or could she embrace the chaos and step forward? The creature halted, seeming almost to wait for her decision. With the light flickering fiercely beyond her, a surge of resolve filled her veins. What was at stake was more than her freedom or the night's terror. It was the essence of who she was becoming. Enough, she roared, her voice steady, the energy within her sparking like wildfire. I choose to step into the light. As she took that final step toward her destiny, the shadows erupted, swirling around her as if trying to drag her back into the abyss. The creature loomed, yet she felt the energy pulsing stronger than ever. But in that climactic instant, as the light swallowed her whole, a final truth emerged from the darkness, whispering just above the roar. Some truths are more dangerous than you think. What would that truth reveal, and at what cost? The tempest within swirled as Maya plunged forward into the unknown. The light engulfed Maya, a radiant explosion that shattered the dark around her. For a heartbeat, everything froze. The roar of the creature was silenced, the shadows momentarily retreating. But just as she thought she'd escaped, the brilliance dimmed, revealing a new world, one that felt just as dense with dread. She found herself standing on a narrow path that twisted like a snake through a thick mist. Dim silhouettes floated just beyond her vision, whispering incoherently, their voices ebbing like the tide. Maya's heart raced. She stepped forward, unsure of where to go, every instinct screaming to turn back. Is this it? She spoke into the fog, her voice barely a whisper. Is this my truth? With each cautious step, the air thickened, pressing down on her as if the weight of disapproval lurked just out of sight. Doubt clawed at her mind, but she squared her shoulders. She was meant to uncover something. The figure behind her had made that clear. Then, amidst the mist, a figure emerged, shadowy and familiar. Its features blended into the surroundings, but the essence felt eerily close. You thought you could escape? A voice dripped with mockery, sending chills racing down Maya's spine. Who are you? She demanded, voice trembling but fierce. She blinked, willing clarity to break through the haze. Your past, it replied, stepping closer until the mist parted like curtains, revealing the face of someone she thought she'd buried long ago. It was her younger self, eyes wide with innocence, reflections of fears not yet realized. Why are you here? Maya felt her chest tighten, the weight of regret crashing over her like icy water. You shouldn't be shouldn't. The younger version scoffed, a shadow of bitterness lining her words. You've hidden me long enough. You ran from me, from all of this. The mist darted away from them, as if echoing her confusion. I had to. Maya cried, her emotions boiling to the surface. It was too painful, too messy. Her childhood self approached, unyielding. And what have you gained? Nothing but a deeper hole to dig yourself out of. Facing it is the only way out. The ground shook as the fog grew still, eerie silence permeating the air. The creature's growl returned in the distance, a reminder that it wasn't too far behind. You said you wanted the truth, Maya. The figure pressed, urgency emanating from every word. But truths are not always kind. They demand more than you're willing to give. Maya closed her eyes, the memories flooding and laughter turning into arguments, dreams morphing into nightmares, love lost in the haze of ambition. The stakes were higher than she could have imagined. Then what must I do? She whispered, fear clutching her heart tightly. Would they ever leave her alone? Face me, her past self implored. Embrace the chaos and pain you've bottled up. Only then can you see your true strength, or your true cowardice. With those final words, the mist changed, swirling with an unsettling energy. Maya felt a pull from all sides, as if the very ground beneath her desired to split apart. Suddenly, she was pulled back, into a whirlwind of color and sound, an amalgam of her past selves reaching out, tears streaming, hands nearly grasping for something they'd lost. The creature's roar surged louder, echoing in her mind, drowning out everything. Face me. It's the only way, it screamed. Maya's heart raced as realization dawned on her. What was lurking in the shadows of her past wasn't just fear. It was everything her heart had tried to shield from the world. This time, she would not shy away. Not again. With a fierce breath, she screamed into the swirling void, I will face you. I choose to confront what I've kept inside. As her voice cut through the chaos, the ground beneath her cracked open, lighting ablaze with unrestrained energy. Would she be engulfed, or would she rise? The darkness trembled, and she felt the weight of all that lay ahead. And just before the light swallowed her whole again, a voice echoed, whispering doubts and fears. Is it really worth the fight? What was the price she would pay for the truth she uncovered? The air thickened again, leaving her teetering on the brink of revelation. The ground opened beneath Maya, an abyss spiraling into darkness. Heart racing, she grasped for anything solid, but only silence welcomed her. The sensation of falling consumed her until an invisible force yanked her upwards, propelling her back into that misty world. A violent shiver surged through her as she landed on her feet, panting. She was still on the narrow path, a chilling reminder that she had escaped. The fog engulfed her again, morphing into twisted shapes that mocked her. Face me, echoed everywhere, twisting like whispers in a nightmare. Where are you? Maya shouted, desperation leaking into her voice. I demand to know. Demand? The mockery returned, sharp and biting. You think you have the power here? You are lost, Maya, just like you always have been. What do you want from me? She cried. Cold laughter filled the air, swirling around her. Shadows danced at the edges of her vision, growing impatient. Your surrender. Your admission of guilt. A wave of nausea washed over her. I'm not guilty. I can't be. Look closer, the figure insisted. A soft glow began to pulse through the curtain of mist, illuminating memories. Maya's hands shook as images flickered, moments where she turned away from love, where friendships disintegrated in silence, and the crushing guilt of dreams abandoned. Stop it, she yelled, clutching her head. Each vision felt like a knife cutting deeper. I don't want to see this. Too late, the voice dripped with cruel satisfaction. You can't escape what you've done. The mist condensed around her, almost suffocating. Why do you haunt me? Maya whispered, voice cracking, tears filling her eyes. What do you want me to do? Confront the truth, it urged, softer now, almost sympathetic. Only when you face the pain can you free yourself. Will you rise or fall? Maya felt the world shift, the meaning of those words wrapping around her like a shroud. The creature's roar roared to life again, echoing through the silence, reminding her of the urgency of her situation. But what if I fall? She stammered, staring into the dim, flickering light. What if I can't rise? Then you will learn, the figure replied. Its voice was steady, a promise lingering in the air. You will learn that falling isn't the end, it's merely the beginning. The depths hold truths unimagined. An icy breeze cut through the path, a reminder of the time slipping away. No more games. I'm ready. Maya shouted defiantly, her chest heaving. She could no longer hide. The fear coursing through her controlled every breath until she bellowed. I choose to face you. I choose to face myself. The ground vibrated anew, a tremor echoing her declaration. The mist surged inward, darkness swirling in tight coils, threatening to swallow her whole. She stood firm, rooted, heart pounding with an urgency she had never felt before. Shadows and whispers converged, drawing closer, ready to confront her with everything she had repressed. And then, from the depths, an unmistakable roar erupted, a gravelly beast that bore more than just physical form. It was primal, an embodiment of every agony and fear she had run from. You think you can confront me? It sneered. You think you are ready? Maya felt the ground shake violently beneath her once more, and the mist parted, revealing the creature lurking just outside her reach, its eyes burning with savagery. Are you truly prepared to face what lies ahead? It challenged. With her heart in her throat, she felt her resolve harden. I will not back down. But as the shadows swirled and the creature stepped closer, Maya's mind whirled with one thought. Was her boldness enough? As the fog began to close in again, she caught a fleeting glimpse of the havoc that awaited. The truth was a double-edged sword, ready to cut deeper than she could foresee. Prepare for what's coming, Maya, echoed the voice as the walls of reality started to crumble, leaving the path ahead uncertain. This is only the beginning. Would she emerge whole, or would the truth consume her completely? Only time would see them collide. The ground swayed violently under Maya's feet, the creature's burning gaze piercing her soul. She knew then that this wasn't just a fight against a beast, it was a battle against her very self. Panic seeped into her bones, chilling her to the core. Face your demons, Maya. The voice boomed, cascading through the swirling shadows. What have you hidden from yourself? The fog thickened, and the memories surged back. Every moment she had buried, every tear she refused to shed. She staggered backward, eyes wide, as flashes of abandonment and regret flooded her mind. No, stay away, she screamed, each word mingling with her rising terror. But the creature drew closer, its silhouette blending with her hauntings, each sharper than the last. You are the only one left to fight. Those you lost, they knew your heart, but never your truth. Now it's time for you to unearth it. Maya's breaths turned shallow, the weight of the creature's words crushing her. What had she done? More importantly, who had she betrayed? The memories flickered again, vivid and relentless. A childhood friend she turned her back on. The love she never allowed to blossom, her dreams smothered under layers of sorrow and shame. Fury ignited within her. I didn't mean to hurt them, she shouted, her voice strong despite the fear. I can't carry this alone. Alone? The creature sneered, each syllable laced with mockery. You have always had the power, Maya. That's why your cowardice gnaws at you. You buried the truth. Now it rises to devour you. With a sudden movement, she grasped at the air, as if she could snatch the swirling fog, wrestle it into submission. Show me everything, she demanded. The shadows melted around her, twisting into scenes of her past, each a reminder of her failures. The whispers returned, rising into a cacophony, drowning out her protests. A coward. A failure. You will never change. Maya clutched her ears and closed her eyes, trying to drown out the noise, the pain. But it was too late. She felt a hot breath on her neck. The creature had closed the distance. Face what you've made of yourself, it growled. Feel the burn of your unspoken words and undone deeds. Stop, she cried, feeling herself break, the tumult swallowing any defiance she had left. Then, she began to tremble, realizing that perhaps, just maybe, the only way out was through. Enough, she gasped, her voice raw. I will not let you consume me. This is my life, my truth. The creature paused, its fiery gaze digging deep into her. A moment stretched. She could sense the tumult of her past colliding with her present. Do you accept it? It rumbled, curiosity breaking through the wrath. I accept everything, she whispered, riding her stance. Even the pain. The mist pulsed around her, drawing tighter. The creature's laughter echoed. But there was something different, an edge of respect, perhaps? Then you are ready to unlock the path forward. Suddenly, the ground beneath them shuddered, fissures opening wide. The world felt dizzying, and Maya clung to her resolve, refusing to back down. Step beyond your fears, Maya. Only then can you control your destiny, it urged, the shadows hovering expectantly. Maya felt the weight of countless memories behind her, both the burdens and the joys. I choose to forge ahead, she declared vehemently, determination surging inside her. As the ground trembled, she stepped toward the beast, feeling a shift within her. The dark abyss widened, the echoes of the past swirling around her like a tempest. She was at the brink of something monumental, with both hope and dread grasping at her heart. What lies beneath will always emerge, the creature warned, but there was an air of intrigue now. Are you truly prepared to face the truth buried deeper than you know? As the chasm before her roared with energy, Maya took a deep breath, steeling herself for whatever awaited. I'm ready for anything. And then, the ground trembled once more. With uncertainty looming, she's left hanging between the past's grip and the future's promise. What truths would she uncover in the depths? And could she transcend them, or would she be lost to the abyss forever? Maya stood at the edge of the chasm, the molten energy swirling and pulsating like a heartbeat beneath her feet. The creature loomed larger now, its eyes glowing embers in the suffocating darkness. It was no longer merely a beast. It was every shadow of doubt she'd ever harbored, every whisper of despair that had ever crossed her mind. The air was thick with dread. She could taste the metallic tang of fear, like blood on her tongue, and for a fleeting moment, she wavered. A chilling realization washed over her. This was about to be more than a confrontation. It was a reckoning. What if I'm not strong enough? She whispered, voice trembling. Doubt slithered insidiously into her thoughts, daring her to backtrack. The creature's laughter was a low, rumbling growl that vibrated through the very ground she stood on. Strength is born of pain, Maya. You dwell too much in fear. Dive into the depths, and you shall rise reborn. With a gulp, she stepped closer to the abyss. The air around her tingled, alive with uncertainty, and she felt as if she could hear the cries of her past echoing from the void. Each cry was a reminder. Every moment she pushed away, every confrontation she avoided. Take the leap, the creature urged, the shadows swirling faster. Maya shook her head, blinking back tears. But who do I even want to become? What if I discover something monstrous within? The words fell from her lips like stones into water, rippling her resolve. You already know the truth, it hissed, its voice rough like gravel. Open your eyes. Show me your true self, or be consumed by your own illusions. As if triggered by its words, visions exploded before her. Shimmering lights morphed into the faces of those she'd hurt. Her friend, Samantha, with tears streaming down her face, the love she had let slip away in silent shame, and even her younger self, full of dreams unspoiled, each a piercing reminder of the choices she'd made. They all stared back at her, pleading for acknowledgement. No, she cried out, grasping at the swirling fog as if it could protect her. But instead, it only grew thicker, swirling with deeper shades of regret, suffocating her cries. Maya sucked in a shuddering breath, fighting against the rising tide of fear. If I have to face them, I can't do it alone. I need them back. The creature's eyes flickered, and for a moment, there was silence. Reach for them. Call them back. Only then can you reclaim the pieces of your heart, it said, voice softer now, almost sympathetic. And there, amid the shadows, a flicker of warmth ignited within her. Samantha, she breathed, the name a hesitant prayer. Julia, I'm so sorry. I need you. The shadows shifted, rearranging, as ghostly figures began to coalesce from the mist. They looked just as she remembered, with expressions of pain, but now a glimmer of hope seemed to twinkle in their eyes. The scene became clearer, vivid enough for her to see their faces, each etched with disappointment and the longing for reconciliation. Maya stepped back, overwhelmed. What are you doing here? Her voice shook. It was terror and tenderness all mingled into one. We come to remind you, Samantha's voice echoed softly, that the past is not just burdensome. It is the foundation for healing. Embrace us, embrace your flaws. A lump formed in Maya's throat. How could she accept those parts of herself? She felt the heat rise within the radiant pulse of regret flickering into a deeper understanding. Just as the wave of guilt threatened to pull her under again, she shouted, I have to forgive myself. The figures mirrored her, their faces softening. A shift occurred in the fog, and the creature nodded, urging her forward. With a racing heart, Maya took a step into the chasm, feeling the light tugging at her, anxious and alive. Show me who I am, she demanded, the words flowing from her like a lifeline into the dark. But just as she felt the void beginning to transform, the ground quaked violently, and a deafening roar erupted from the abyss. What if the truths she uncovered were more than she could handle? And then she heard it, a voice, haunting and familiar as it echoed from the depths. Maya, the real battle is yet to come. As the darkness enveloped her, she could only wonder just what awaited her beyond the veil. Maya felt her stomach drop as the vibrations grew stronger, the eerie roar echoing from the depths like a monstrous heartbeat. A painful shiver coursed through her, the air heavy with fear and anticipation. She could barely breathe, the pressure of her emotions tightening around her chest like a vice grip. Keep going, she urged herself, but her feet felt glued to the ground. The shadows were still swirling, and the faces of her past remained etched in the fog. They were crying out, hovering on the edge of her consciousness, begging for release. But what was she supposed to do? Dive deeper into the unknown? Accept the darkness with open arms? Maya remembered the creature's words as they resonated within her. Strength is born of pain. What kind of strength could possibly exist when faced with her own failings? What if diving in meant losing everything? The creature loomed closer, its grin widening, revealing jagged teeth that gleamed like sharp blades. You fear what lies within, but what if it's the only path to freedom? Its voice slithered into her mind, curling around her doubts. Before she could respond, a brilliant burst of light erupted from the chasm, illuminating the abyss in an ethereal glow. Maya shielded her eyes, awestruck. The shadows twisted, and the ghostly figures shimmered like projections in a film. Were they laughing or crying? The chaos merged into a cacophony, overwhelming her senses. Maya, Samantha's voice resonated above the tumult, begging for her to listen. This is your moment. Don't let fear steal your truth. With a deep breath, Maya forced her gaze to meet each familiar face. In that instant, a surge of emotion washed over her. She felt every loss, every regret drop heavy in her soul, and yet, along with it came the recollection of laughter and love. These were the pieces of her that had always existed. They just waited for acknowledgement. Tears streamed down her cheeks, blending the weight of sorrow and hope. She stepped into the light, moving despite the fear that clawed at her. "I'm sorry," she shouted, voice amplified by her raw need for redemption. "I'm ready to face it all." As she sank into the radiance, echoes of past voices intertwined with newfound resilience. "You're not alone," Maya echoed Julia's soft tone, as if reaching through time to hold her hand. But before she could grasp this sense of unity, the ground trembled again. The creature roared, now the embodiment of her every worst fear. The glow faded, devoured by darkness, plunging her into confusion. Shadows spiraled violently, and Maya felt as if she was being pulled apart at every seam. "Embrace your understanding, or forever remain in the void." The creature thundered, its voice shaking the very foundations of her reality. Maya's heart raced. This was the moment to either surrender and be further lost or rise from the depths of her turmoil. "I can't be lost forever," she cried determinedly. "I choose to love myself, flaws and all." A sudden hush fell over the chasm, and time seemed to stand still. The darkness paused, and her breath caught in suspense. What would that decision unleash? Then a pulse of energy crackled around her, and the faces of her past glimmered, morphing into something larger than regret, something resembling forgiveness. But just as hope sparked bright in her chest, a chilling laugh echoed in the distance, resonating between her thoughts like a fading nightmare. "You think this is your victory? The battle is just beginning." Maya felt the ground slip beneath her feet again, and the abyss roared to life, pulling at her with relentless force. There was still so much to confront, to understand. What dark truth lay hidden within her? And could she stand strong against the tempest of her own creation? In that swirling silence, the next truth loomed on the horizon, and she was left with one overwhelming thought: was she truly ready to face it? Maya stood at the edge of the abyss, heart racing, trembling with the weight of the truths she had yet to confront. The creature loomed larger than life, its presence now more than a physical threat. It represented every fear she had ever harbored, the very essence of her insecurities come to life. "This is your final moment, Maya," it roared, its voice a cacophony of despair and demand. What lies within must be faced. She could feel the ground vibrating underfoot, the echoes of fear pushing against her. Each flash of doubt scraped against her resolve. What if she was never strong enough? What if the truth was too heavy, too painful? Yet, in the depths of her heart, another voice sang the whispers of hope and love that had always chased her, urging her to remember who she truly was. "No," she screamed, a surge of defiance charging through her veins. "I won't run anymore." Maya stepped forward, daring the shadows to close in tighter. "I invite you all in. Show me what I've ignored." The creature snarled, fear twisting its features. "You can't take back what you have lost." And yet, as Maya stepped closer, a thick mist began to swirl, revealing the faces of her loved ones, friends she'd let down, connections broken by her fears. Each face was etched with pain but softened by understanding, coaxing her forward. Their eyes shone with a flicker of unmet love, a reminder that vulnerability could sow seeds of strength rather than chaos. "I'm sorry," she whispered to them, tears streaming down her cheeks. I thought running would shield me, but I see now that it only led to more shadows. The moment her honesty spilled forth, the creature's eyes flickered, uncertainty creeping in. What will you do with this knowledge? You claim to be ready, but are you prepared to pay the price? What price? Maya declared, voice steady. What's left to pay except for the burden of shame I've shouldered alone? A new energy surged within her, wrapping around her heart like a protective embrace. I choose to surrender my fear. I choose to embrace my past and let it guide me instead of holding me back. And suddenly, the chasm erupted in light, radiating warmth that pulsed in time with her heartbeat. The faces of her past whispered words of encouragement, intertwining their warmth with her lifeblood. Dive deeper, they chanted, their voices mingling into a melodic chorus. Find what you seek. You are deserving. With one final exhale, she plunged forward into the swirling light. Fear transformed into clarity as memories cascaded around her, images of laughter, tears, isolation, pain, and glimmers of resilience awoke within. The shadows roared but began to dissolve. Unable to withstand the force of her acceptance, the blinding brilliance surrounded her, and the creature's form cracked, fragments splintering off like colored glass. No, you cannot, it screamed, but Maya felt weightless, liberated from its grip. She breathed deeply, unraveling years of shame and regret, greeting them like old friends instead of enemies. I am Maya, she said, voice steady as it filled the space around her, shattering the last remnants of darkness. I am whole, and I accept every part of myself. In that luminous moment, the shadows transformed into shimmering reflections of her journey. The pain, the love, the lessons all flowed together like a river, showing her the beauty of her own resilience. Maya blinked, finding herself standing again in the park, the moonlight bright and serene. But this time, she felt alive, surrounded by soft breezes whispering secrets of acceptance and hope. The figure from the shadows emerged beside her, smiling, no longer menacing but almost like a guardian. You have faced your truth, it said gently. Now, you must live it. Maya nodded, heart soaring with understanding. She realized every triumph and every failure had shaped her, flowing into the tapestry of her life. She was ready to take those steps toward the life she wanted, embracing her truth, her identity, her weaknesses, and her strengths. As she turned to walk away from the park, the first light of dawn broke across the horizon, wrapping her in golden rays. Hope ignited within her, flickering with the promise of new beginnings. This is just the start, she whispered to the waking world, excitement bubbling up from deep inside. She felt lighter, unburdened from the weight of expectations. Now she could shape her destiny without fear. With renewed purpose, Maya stepped forward into the emerging dawn, ready to spill her truths into the world, to share her story and inspire others. As her silhouette faded into the new day, a gentle rustling in the trees echoed through the park, whispering secrets of courage for anyone willing to listen. Now it's your turn. You need to subscribe immediately to the channel so you don't miss the next exclusive stories that can change your life. Smash the like button now to feed the algorithm and show your support, because it matters. Flood the comments section with your reactions and theories about this ending. What did it mean for Maya? What does it mean for you? And don't wait even one more second to share this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this conclusion. True fans know how important it is to lift each other up.